Johnson Motorcycle Shop in Delano, Minnesota. As you can see, this is a very large operation and has very many motorcycles. And we will now take a shot of the owner of this establishment.
Yeah. All steady, slow, whatever. Jeff back there are coming in and out.
Okay.
I did call you. Yeah, getting better.
This is a very large showroom.
Yeah, but you got the custom floorboards. It's just more of a custom bike than just a production factory bike.
Shall we worship at your feet?
No.
No, so we have to go down to the baseball field to do that because he needs some marble down there.
Yep, and then there's Sungo. Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't know that.
I've got a white Alt right here. The one with all the legs and shells and versus the other one. Look at the color, how nice it is. No, it's an Ultra Classic with the big fairing and all that. I mean, if you really want to see the color.
Yeah.
You looking for any more of those backdrops?
These? No, I think we're good.
There's 3 or 4 more back in the race department. I don't know how they ended up there.
These? Really? I'm sure that's where they're from. You want more of those? There's the big sections you put in the back.
Oh, yeah. Huh? I think there's 3 or 4.
We're now in another large building
Leaning up against the shelf.
where they unpack all the new motorcycles
Take a look in
and
there, 'cause I think that's what they are.
get them ready for sale and display and for delivery to customers.
Yeah, I think there's some over there. Hi, I'm Butch Donohue. That's what everybody in town knows me as. My real name is John B. Donohue. I'm born in '43 in Morningside, just outside of Minneapolis. Raised by my mother. My father died when I was 3 years old. Went to parochial school for 8 years and went to public school for 2 years, and I went out on my own and moved around the country and had a good time for a young guy, just going out and bumming around, having a great time, getting odd jobs. And came back to town and came back to Minneapolis in 1961, I believe, and met my wife and got married when I was 21. 41 years later, we're still married. I sold motorcycles and fixed motorcycles my whole life. That's how I got enough money for the down payment on my first house. That's how I had enough money to pay for my first son who was born. I paid for the hospital bill by selling one of my motorcycles. I ran 2 or 3 different motorcycle businesses down in Minneapolis. In my grandmother had a nursing home, and I ran that for a few years, and I really didn't care for that business at all, so I decided to move out in the country. In 1972, I started looking for a small town with a motorcycle shop in it that was for sale, and the person who was working for the Kawasaki motorcycle factory at that time told me about Delano, and it was Delano Sports Center. It was Artie Cat and Kawasaki, and I came out one afternoon and gave a deposit and rode my motorcycle back home. I never even told my wife. I just came out and bought it. That was 1973. That was on the other end of town, which is now Lou Fager's race parts. I stayed in that building from 1973 to 1986. In 1976, I bought out the Harley dealership in Buffalo, and soon outgrew that facility. Then I found this building that was for sale, and after it had been vacant for a number of years, and I bought it in 1986. In 1986, I bought the building, closed on the building, and we moved up here, and since then I've expanded it 4 times and remodeled it 5 times, and have a 20,000 square foot building over here for my snowmobiles, ATVs, and import motorcycles, and separated the Harley Davidson. The Harley Davidson's in the main building, and this one is the second building. We've grown from 1 employee. When I first opened up in 1973, I had 1 employee, and I didn't have enough money to pay him. The first week I was open, I had to sell one of my motorcycles to make his payroll, and we've been as high as 55 employees up here now. We try to keep it around 37, 38, but sometimes in the spring we have to bring in extra people and do extra things. So we've been here since 1973, and this is now 2006, and my son, Tony, is the president of the corporation now, and he's running this business, and I'm just kind of standing on the side watching him and making sure that no huge problems arise. And my other son, Brett, he's running the store in St. Cloud, Minnesota. I have Donohue Harley in St. Cloud, and we bought that 13 years ago and built a new building up there about 8 years ago. And now we're expanding into the next place. We're going up into Brainerd, opening up a dealership in Brainerd. It's right on Highway 371, just across from Reed Sporting Goods. So we're on the move. My son Tony, who operates this place and is president and general manager, also just bought Delano Dodge, Chrysler, and Jeep down there. So he's got a plate full also. We came out here in '73, and it's been a great town. We've had real good acceptance and results, and I've been doing business with the State Bank of Delano since 1973. Have a great working relationship, and I'm seeing now the vast buildings and stuff that are going on, and how fast we're losing the small town. One of the reasons I came out here in 1973 is I wanted my kids to come out here where there was actually some cornfields and some outdoors where kids could go out and play and have a good time and not have to worry about city streets. And we did that, accomplished that. It was a good school, and in general has been a real success. I'm just in the process of starting to retire and stepping back, and hopefully in another year and a half, then I can just kind of go out and do whatever I feel like doing.